Fireside Chat with Michael Saylor, Microstrategy, and Mike Costache, investor and entrepreneur.
Hello, Malta. Who's awake? Can I hear you say Malta, like they say locally? Who can say it with this beautiful accent? Malta. Well, we're all here today because Eman Police, a dear friend since 2018, and 90 wonderful souls that are his soldiers have set aside a lot of time in the last year to create this series of events called the Malta Week. They even employ 600 other people to create all these stands in these 15,000 square meters. So thank you for all your sponsorship, helping the local economy in Malta. Today, we are here with a wonderful human being who's coming to us from DC. And before I introduce him, I just want to say a few words about Eman. Eman is the guy with long hair that you see at every conference around the world who promotes Malta like no other patriotic citizen. So I think we should all give him a round of applause and maybe get the Prime Minister to give him an honorary citizenship award. This Fireside Chat and the entire AIBC conference is co-hosted and sponsored by GMT. GMT, as you already know from the big VIP lounge down there, is in the business of simplifying the mining process, allowing everybody to benefit from the financial freedom Bitcoin allows you without investing in equipment and going through all the hurdles of managing a mining farm. Just a few months ago, on April 26th, GMT launched their own token to raise even more money and allow more people to have access to real computing power. Today, there's about 17,000 miners who are receiving daily Bitcoin mining rewards. Sure. GMT has already shared the data with the Bitcoin Mining Council, which Michael and a few other companies in America established back in May. And today is a proud day for GMT because they have just become the 30th member of the Bitcoin Mining Council. So that's a big achievement. And there's many more companies that are joining the Bitcoin Mining Council and sharing their data and creating transparency. But now it's my pleasure to introduce Michael Saylor, whom I had the pleasure of partying with once many years ago in Miami. And everybody knows him as the chairman, founder, and CEO of Microstrategy, which is a business intelligence company he created a long time ago. And he's actually the longest founders, CEO, and still controlling officer of a U.S. publicly traded company. He listed it back in '89, and he's still controlling it, which is why during the pandemic, on the 11th of August, he was able to take $250 million of the corporation's retained earnings and bought Bitcoin with it. I'm assuming a lot of other people have bought a lot of Bitcoin before, but nobody in public with it has said, I convinced my board of directors of a NASDAQ publicly traded company to buy this much Bitcoin. Of course, he did it securely and safely through Coinbase. It was probably a year-long negotiation to get there, but he did it. So although his given name is Saylor, I call him the savior because when the pandemic started, as you remember, Bitcoin was at 10,000. It went down to 6,500 for a week, and then it started climbing up. He bought most of that at 11,000 in August, which I think is a very smart move. And he encouraged so many other dozens and I think over 100 companies that are publicly traded to start doing the same. Elon Musk was one of them and many, many others. So he's a savior in my book from that point of view. But the most impressive thing to me about this human being is not the fact that he has 17,732 Bitcoin in his own name and another 114,042 Bitcoin in his corporation's name. That is just wealth that comes and goes. As he calls it, he takes electrical energy called electricity, which gets converted into digital energy called Bitcoin. And other people like him that sell services and products take their profits and buy that digital energy called Bitcoin and they store it for future value. But the most impressive to me that he has accomplished is the fact that over 1 million people have been able to get college degrees or currently be enrolled in what's called the Saylor Academy. This is his nonprofit that him and his staff established back in 2008. And I would really, really encourage all of you to go to your App Store or Google Play and download Saylor Academy or go to Saylor.org and see what 1 million people are already benefiting from, which to me is very, very impressive. I have a very dear friend who got me into blockchain back in 2017. His name is Brock Pierce. He's the chairman of Bitcoin Foundation. And Brock has been preaching for a number of years that the new way of calling yourself a billionaire is not how much cash, dollars, or Bitcoin you have, but if you're able to influence positively the lives of 1 billion people. I don't think there's anybody on this planet who hasn't yet heard of Michael if you have any interest in Bitcoin. And he's already influenced 1 million people by helping him get college degrees from a number of universities that are accredited through his Saylor Academy. So he's on his way towards 1 billion people, but he's already influencing them through all the knowledge that he's sharing every day, and of course, those that use his products. Now, that was a 7-minute introduction because he really deserves it. So now I'd like to welcome Michael all the way from DC. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. We have crowdsourced 5 questions from the 25,000 email database that Eman has and other social networks. And we've come up with 5 questions for Michael, but I'd like to let you say a few things about the Bitcoin Mining Council or anything on your mind that you'd like to share with us. I think the most impressive number that you've shared recently in the quarterly report of the Bitcoin Mining Council is that only 0.12% of the world's electricity is used for Bitcoin mining. So all the media that has been spreading fake rumors, fake news for so long is now able to listen to what Michael and the Bitcoin Mining Council has to say. So Michael, the floor is yours, and then I'll ask a few questions from our 5 lucky winners of $1,000 worth of GMT who submitted their questions and they were chosen. Michael? Can you hear us, Michael? No? Michael? Is he able to hear us? Okay, can you unmute him? All right. Technology at its best.
Okay, I hear you now.
All right,
Hello?
great. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Are you able to hear us now?
I hear you fine, thank you.
Great, great. Would you like to say a few words about Bitcoin Mining Council or anything on your mind before I ask you these 5 selected questions?
No, go ahead.
All right,
Shoot.
let's go. So Russell Chorus, CEO of Easy365 from Toronto, who's running a digital ecosystem combining the best aspects of NFC and online gaming, digital tracking, and blockchain education, has this following question. There is a very interesting court case happening right now in Florida between Kleiman and Wright. What are your thoughts on the implications of BTC and BSV, the fork of Bitcoin Cash, as we all know, if Craig Wright is the conclusively established as being the Satoshi Nakamoto?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can ignore the court case. I think it's just comedic relief. It's not going to have any consequence to the crypto ecosystem one way or the other. He's not Satoshi. That's pretty obvious. If he was Satoshi, he'd be Satoshi. And there's there's huge amount of Bitcoin that's not moving ever. And the court can't give him ownership of the Bitcoin any more than give him ownership of Mars. If he sued because he thought that he invented the moon, they wouldn't give him the moon either. And if they gave him the moon, he couldn't take it. So I would just ignore it. It's a sideshow and a waste of time.
Okay, so just a media show.
Yeah.
All right, great. We have Jason Butcher, the CEO of Coin Payments Global out of London. He's running a leading crypto payment gateway, making it easy for merchants to accept crypto as a form of payment. And his question is the following. Over the past decade, we've seen crypto used for many things, from being used for exchange of value to investment to speculation to utility usage within platforms, and most recently NFTs and DeFi. What's next? What do you see is the next stage of crypto?
Okay, I think there's 3 different aspects of crypto right now. There's digital property and digital energy running on the Bitcoin network. There is decentralized, dematerialized finance, dematerialized platforms and technology, which is other crypto platforms like, Solana and Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum and the competitors. And then there's speculation like the 48 dog coins and the 2 Sailor Moon coins and the 12 Elon Musk coins. And I think if you're a speculator, that'll continue. I think that all the NFTs and smart contracts are crypto venture technology. I think that digital energy and digital property, though, is by far the biggest opportunity because that's going to go from $1 trillion on Bitcoin to $100 trillion, and potentially could be worth $500 trillion. So I think it'd be a mistake to fixate on the revolutionary aspects of crypto. That is, that the idea we're going to replace governments, replace companies, replace existing institutional structures with something all new in crypto. That's a beautiful dream, but I don't think that's going to happen in the next decade. And it might distract you from the evolutionary opportunity, which is if you plug your country, plug your insurance company, plug your finance company, plug your bank, plug your corporation, plug your balance sheet into Bitcoin, that's worth hundreds of trillions of dollars. You just have to own money, or you have to have a company, or you have to have a country. And for anybody that has those assets in the real world, as they digitally transform those assets, there's going to be massive value creation. So my advice is don't become too inwardly focused on the revolution. Make sure that you recognize the evolution, right? I mean, plugging a country like United Arab Emirates into Bitcoin could be done by 3 people in a week, and it would be worth $100 billion, right? So, whereas if you pointed the entire country at rebuilding the infrastructure with and replacing everything with a crypto chain, you would accomplish 1% of that with 1,000x, 10,000x more risk.
Great. Thank you for that wonderful detailed answer. Christopher Wirkala, CEO of Sphere Us from Redmond, Washington State. He runs a charitable organization dedicated to helping educators effectively implement the Every Student Succeeds Act so that vulnerable students get dedicated resources for higher learning, which is similar to some of the things Michael is doing with his Saylor Academy. His question is as follows. Retail crypto investors focus on holding buy-side demand and pump and dump timing for value appreciation and positive ROI. What is the impact of various equilibriums that come with a massive surge in short positions through derivatives, options, and other hedge strategies? Put another way, what impact will they have on the crypto overall, mining, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, volatility, mining costs, exchange spreads, and fees?
I think the rational strategy is to buy the dominant asset, in this case, Bitcoin. Buy as much Bitcoin as you can, hold it forever, and ignore the market fluctuation. There is lots of volatility in the market. The only people that benefit from the volatility and trading it are professional arbitrageurs and traders. So if you have proprietary software, proprietary algorithms, and a bank of computers, and you want to trade the volatility, and you're a professional, and you know you can do it, then maybe that's a business for you. But I think if you're a consumer, you should just buy and hold and wait and ignore volatility. The more you focus on it, the more it's just going to give you anxiety. And with regard to any dominant network, for example, if you bought Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, if you bought Bitcoin, the only mistake that you can ever make as an investor is to sell them. Right? So if you had, the richest man in the world is still owning the stock that he owned 20 years ago or 10 years ago, right? You don't get rich by selling or trading, right? The way you get rich is by predicting the future and then buying a piece of the future and just holding it forever. And normally the people that are really rich, the Zuckerbergs, the Bezos, et cetera, the Elon Musk, they're rich because they're not allowed to sell. Like, if I'm a public company officer and I own the stock, I can't sell it as either private or I don't have that option. Whenever you get cute and you start staring at the ticker, thinking that you're going to sell it so you can buy it back cheaper, you just, you generally sell it. You don't buy it back cheaper. You wake up one morning, it goes up by a factor of 3, then it goes up by a factor of 10, and then you realize you lost 97% of your money. So I don't advise anybody trade unless you are the world's greatest trader and you know you are. And the person that's the best in the world at this knows they're the best. 99% of you aren't. Buy it, wait, hold.
Great, thank you very much. Dan Bobic, CEO of Simplus from Bucharest, Romania, runs a leading premium rate aggregator of SMS, IVR, ITV, micropayment, televoting, and interactive game company. With the United Nations Climate Change Conference, which we all know is commonly referred to as COP26, and other carbon reduction global decisions harm large farming projects. Is there any opportunity for crypto mining taking into account carbon emissions targets?
Yeah, I think Bitcoin mining is the most sustainable industry in the world. I think we're running with a sustainable energy mix, north of 50%, 56, 57%, which is quadruple every other industry on the planet. So I think that as people start to focus upon energy use, what they'll see is that Bitcoin mining is the highest value use of energy in the world. It's the best use of stranded energy. It's the best use of intermittent energy. There's no other way to monetize a volcano or a waterfall or a wind farm so effectively. If you're in any developing nation, it would easily be 10 times, if not 100 times as lucrative as the next best idea for your energy. So I think Bitcoin mining in general is going to usher in a renaissance in the monetization, the development of stranded and sustainable energy.
Great, great. I have one extra question that came in just now from Artem Sergeyev. He's the founder of Blockshow, which is a friend of Eman and I. He's also a large conference organizer in the blockchain space. He has a question that refers to the fact that a few weeks ago, Vitalik posted an article about the possible future of cities and even whole countries managed through DAOs. He called them crypto cities. Michael, how far can we go with DAOs? Where can DAOs really help and change the life around for better, in your opinion?
If you're the mayor of a city or you run a governmental institution, the opportunity for you is to build a balance sheet based upon Bitcoin. Bitcoin is universally recognized as community property. There's still a lot of question about whether or not other cryptos are property or securities, and most likely they're all securities. So if a public official were to endorse a security, it's unethical and it's probably illegal. So any kind of municipal initiative based upon any token that's deemed a security is just not going to work. It's going to violate every public ethics rules and probably most of the anti-corruption and bribery laws in the world. So the only thing that's a safe harbor for a public official right now is Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is property like land. Anything that's deemed to be a security, it's like, you can't basically do a deal with Facebook or Apple and say that we're going to endorse a private company in order to grow our city. So in the distant future, maybe if there are other cryptos that are deemed as property, there might be a discussion here. But right now, there really isn't any crypto other than Bitcoin that's deemed as property. So nothing else would be appropriate for a public official to endorse, to even talk about, right? The best idea for a city is you take $1 billion, you buy Bitcoin, you wait for it to go up, right? That's a good idea. Every other idea is probably going to be legally or ethically fraught with peril.
And on a more micro level, do you see the Bitcoin Mining Council, which is today just a website that you and your friends created and you've allowed everybody to join, do you see that as a legal entity in some sort of a community? Where do you see it going as a structure?
Bitcoin Mining Council is really just an informal consortium of Bitcoin miners that are gathered to educate the public on the benefits of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. So fairly informal, but it's got an educational mission. The mission is, it's every single quarter we do a survey, we assess energy usage. We're keeping track of efficiency of Bitcoin mining. As Bitcoin mining becomes more technically efficient and more sustainable, we've got the survey results to share with the world. And there's a lot of education to be done about Bitcoin mining in general. And so the Bitcoin Mining Council will pursue that mission.
But in terms of events and staff and building it as a real organization, like there's 600 other organizations in America that run different industry trades. Do you see that becoming that, or is it going to remain as decentralized entity as far as you can see?
I think we'll see. Right now, our primary mission is education. And if you actually produce really good content and you put it online on YouTube and Twitter, you can get to 1 million people very quickly and very efficiently. So I think we're more enthusiastic about educating the public and any interested public investors in the benefits of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining.
Great. I have one last personal question.
I would do that online.
Malta's GDP last year was 15 billion. The market cap of the company that you started and still run is 7.5 billion today. What is it like running half of Malta from your office in DC?
It's exciting time, I think. Right now, if you look at the world, you've got a multi-$100 trillion opportunity to commercialize digital property and digital energy and digital assets. And I look at it. I look at where we are today. It's kind of like 1900 with electricity. You've invented this electricity. You can put electricity into houses and cars and boats and appliances. And some people are afraid of it, and someone burned their house down with it, and someone got shocked by it, and the mathematics is kind of complicated, but it's going to change the world. I feel the same way about digital energy. But Bitcoin's digital energy, it's going to change every government, every company. It's going to change every family. It's going to impact the way that most of our products and services work. People aren't quite sure of it. Some people don't understand it. Some people are afraid of it. As they start to learn more about it, it fixes everything, makes the world a better place. I'm enjoying my time, and I'm enjoying the educational mission and the opportunity to develop the 21st century economy using digital energy.
And one last question. How many publicly traded companies have reported to you that they've also taken some of their assets off their balance sheet, whether it's retaining earnings or whatever, and converted them into Bitcoin? Is it hundreds?
About a year and a half ago, we were the first. I think there's probably about 3 dozen now. So we're still in early innings, but we've gone from 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 to 10. I think there'll be a dozen fairly substantial publicly traded Bitcoin miners trading on the stock exchange by the end of this year. I'm really excited. You might have noticed Marathon was one of the earliest Bitcoin miners to buy Bitcoin using the proceeds of an equity offering. And just this week, they priced a convertible debt offering. They just did it for $650 million under really great terms, just a day ago. And I think you see a lot of other Bitcoin miners that are raising equity and debt, and they're either going to buy Bitcoin mining equipment, they're going to buy Bitcoin. But if you think about it, what you realize is every time a Bitcoin miner raises money, equity or debt or of any sort, that means they're in essence using it to buy Bitcoin. Because if they pay their operating expenses, that's so they can hold the Bitcoin they mined. And if they use it to pay for Bitcoin mining equipment, that's so that they can hold the Bitcoin they mined. And then in some cases, like Marathon, they actually go out and buy Bitcoin in the open market before they mine it. So I think you'll see an acceleration of that. You'll see more companies like Square and Tesla buy Bitcoin as well for their balance sheets.
Great. Thank you very, very much for your time. I know you're just getting started with your day today. So have a wonderful day with all your employees and everything that you're spreading all the love throughout the world. And I'll see you in Miami in December. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best.